about the next about 1 to maybe 3 weeks, school boards in those counties will vote on these applications as to if we should be established in their county or not.
Ah, okay, okay. So when are all of those votes coming up for those counties in Tennessee?
There's 3 next week, and then there will be 2 more in the week or 2 after that. Robertson County will actually be this next Monday, and
Okay.
they are the first of those votes.
Oh, they're the first one. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So the school board, and so I know that they don't normally meet on that Monday. So this is a special meeting just for that vote?
Yep. That's my understanding. Is the only reason why they'd be getting together.
Ah, okay, very good, very good. So, can you, like, for the people out there that don't really know that much about charter schools, can you kind of give a little overview on, the benefit of them? Why do we need those?
Okay. Well, the charter movement started about 30 years ago. You started seeing charter schools pop up across the United States about 30 years ago. Basically, they were results of local community members, families, saying that they would like to have some options. So whatever was available to them, it could be the public district that they live in or private schools. Some people decide to homeschool, but basically they said, hey, we would like to have another choice. And so charter schools are basically an ask of a community if they could do something that's a little different than whatever is being provided.
Ah,
So,
okay.
for example, the schools that we're trying to start are classical schools. So, often what happens in classical education is that most of the schools in the modern day in the United States that offer classical education are private schools.
Mm-hmm.
So, part of what makes this charter unique is it's a public charter, meaning it would be free of cost to those who chose to gain to it. But
Ah,
charter schools are basically an ask for a different option. It's about giving parents more choices on the schools that they have available to their kids.
okay, okay. And so, are all of the ones being proposed in Tennessee? Are you kind of like the umbrella for those, or what is your role for those?
So ACE, American Classical Education, is really, there's 2 of us that have formed it. So Joel Shellhammer is our executive director, and I am the vice president of schools. Basically, what I bring to it is really a strong knowledge of public education and these types of schools. Specifically, the work that Joel does is more of what we call the back office part, making sure that you have facilities and personnel and, like things are paid for, the lights stay on, that kind of thing. And the
Okay.
idea of getting a collective of schools is it diminishes costs over time, the operations of the school.
Ah,
So that would be the reason why you have a collective of schools instead of independent. Now, the way
okay.
that these schools work would in effect be as individual charter schools, which is how all the other Barney Charter School Initiative schools have started. It's just this has become a conversation in the last year about how do you do this at scale? How do you establish these schools that are very well across the country and in more is a larger amount and a quicker amount of time.
Ah, I see. Okay. All right. And I had asked for someone to send me some stats because I was curious, how we rank here in Robertson County. How our schools rank and how charter schools could help that. Do you have that information?
Sure. Did you ask if I have that information?
Yeah. Can you tell our audience how Robertson County schools right now, how we rank in comparison to maybe Tennessee or in comparison to U.S.?
Sure. Well, Robertson specifically, their numbers, if you look at the composite of their ELA, English language, or reading is probably the easiest way to look at that, and mathematics is just below the state average. I believe for 3rd to 5th graders, it's just under 30%. And in the states, it's just over 30%.
Oh.
In the nation, depending on if it's math or reading, it's anywhere from 30 to 40%.
Oh my goodness.
So Robertson, at this point, yeah, it's it's a national issue. It's not unique to any specific county. Many of our kids are not reading at a proficient level or doing math
Wow.
at a proficient level. So, and it's the intention of, like, if I speak specifically about the school that we're starting, is to work in communion and lead with the district. It's not
Mm,
meant to come and be contentious and say, hey, we're going to do this better, that kind of thing. It's just, we'd like to work with the same group of kids.
mm,
And the way that this process works is if local educational agency, so your school board, were to vote us to be part of them, they would be our sponsor, which means
Oh.
that they have a specific authority, which why in my mind it's kind of a win-win. The authority that it gives them is if we fail to do as we say we would do, which we're quite confident that our literacy rates would go up and our math skills, and just the overall student as an academic as well as just being a person, would be strong. But that score, so we have to take the same state test that any school in Robertson County public school has today. So our score becomes part of their score. So if we fail to do what we're saying we're going to do, they can shut us down. They have the authority to say, hey, we gave you a try. It's not looking like this is working out. But if we do well, it actually impacts the kids in that community most importantly, but it also impacts the overall scores of the county.
Ah. Okay. So, and that's something that I think is good for people to know because sometimes it seems like people are afraid of charter schools because they think that they're going to come in and and just take over or whatever, or be an enemy of pointing out issues or whatever. So that's
No,
good to
that's not our
know.
intention at all.
Okay.
It really is not.
Hmm.
That's something that we often have to deal with as far as what I would call kind of misinformation. I've been in the charter world for 20 plus years. In fact, the only reason as a teacher, I'm at heart I'm a teacher, even if I've been an administrator. I taught for 12 years. I've been an administrator for 18. When I went into the charter school, I was a teacher for Los Angeles Unified School District at the time. It was never my intention to go in the charter world as a counter. I just thought there might be unique things that we could try that as a group of educators, as we start to kind of understand what best impacts kids, let's start doing more of that. And as you get older in kind of education, you start to recognize that just different kids need different things. Kids learn differently. And different types of methods and opportunities and spaces and environments impact kids differently. So as I move towards kind of it being kind of an educational conversation as a teacher, I'm more convinced now that we actually know how to teach kids. The question is, are we going to do those various things in various environments? I've just moved more towards parents know their kids best, and they should have the opportunity to place their kids in environments that they believe that they'll be successful in. And this might be one of them. That's how I look at it.
Okay. So then how would that work with what you've proposed for Robertson County? What would that look like?
So if they were to accept our application, we would actually open the facility in fall of 2024, and we would start with a K-5 population that would grow by a year every year. So we'll start K-5, and then K-6, K-7, we'll say K-12, a full K-12 high school from kindergarten.
Okay, and that would be one building, or is that in several places of Robertson County?
It's one building in the sense that it's one school. Obviously, different schools can look different. It could be you could have an upper school and a lower school, for example, on the same campus.
Okay.
Maybe a K-6 and a 7 as well, which sometimes happen. But it's seen as one school. It's a school of K-12. It's not an elementary school and then like a secondary school. It's a school for all the kids, K-12.
Okay, and is that limited? Is it capped off at a certain amount, or how do people? Okay.
The original number that we would hope to start with is 340 students.
Okay.
And at full capacity would be under 700.
Oh.
So if you do kind of a quick math on that, it's about 50 to 60 kids per grade.
Okay.
There are more sections as they're younger. K2 is usually 3 sections, so between 17 and 20 kids per classroom. And then as they get older, you might get closer to 20 to 25 kids per classroom.
Oh, okay. All right. And is there already like a city or a location that's kind of being looked at for this school?
Well, specifically in Robertson County, we're looking obviously in the Springfield area.
Okay.
Part of the benefit of being approved by your local district is we can be in conversation with them as far as the best place to put the school, which is what we want to do. We want to be part of the conversation in the community, putting schools in an area that benefits that community best.
Okay. And in general, like you said, you were a public school teacher to begin with, right? Hello?
Hello?
Oh,
Yeah.
lost you for a second there. Sorry about that. So what what benefits or what results have you seen with other charter schools coming in brand new to a community?
Well, all charter schools I've been in have communities they've been in. To talk specifically about the school that we're hoping to start there, the school I started in Ohio was significantly higher than the district in both literacy and mathematics. Um, so there's a substantial shift, and a lot of it has to do with how we teach kids to read.
Mm.
So what classical schools do is really not new. I mean, what's interesting is most people, kind of this generation, and maybe a little bit before and after, they've never really been around classical education, so they don't know exactly how it works. If you go back a couple generations, there are many Americans that were raised under what was closer to what we call classical education. So when it comes to literacy, for example, it's very much based in sounds and writing to read, so phonograms. You have kindergarten kids learning 72 phonograms, and the rules of the English language through sound, and a multi-sensory approach, which is historically how we taught reading. Then, within the last 20, 30 years, we moved very strongly towards what's called whole language. And so there's been a shift. And there's a lot of evidence that teaching kids the sounds of the language and the rules and going through the very specific grammar of how English works, because it's a complicated language and it's not native to us, benefits students. If you look at the studies of kids learning how to read, about 20% of us will read almost naturally. Like, we're around other readers in our house, we kind of picked up. And then there's about 20% they're pretty close to that, a little bit of nudge here and there, and then they read. But the majority of us, about 60% of us, this is entirely a foreign thing. It's not something that we natively think to do. Reading, looking at, relatively abstract or arbitrary symbols and saying that they have sounds and then they make words and sentences. It's something that has to be very specifically taught. And for a classical school, it's really important that we teach those things specifically, because our expectation is that they're reading complete books by the time they're in the third grade, to be part of a larger conversation around what we call the classical conversation around literature and other primary pieces.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds really good. And if people want to, support you or support the charter schools or support, what action do you recommend?
Well, as far as action, as far as teaching themselves what we're doing, they can go to AmericanClassicalSchools.com to read up on what we're doing.
Okay, so it's AmericanClassicalSchools.com. Just want to repeat that for the people out there. Okay, AmericanClassicalSchools.com. Okay.
Yep, and then they can kind of read up on what we're doing. It also introduce them to some of the other work in the whole state of Tennessee. If they'd like to look at the Barney Charter School Initiative concept, as far as like where's this curriculum coming from, those ideas, they can literally just Google Barney, B-A-R-N-E-Y, Charter School Initiative, and they can read up on that as well. As far as local and Robertson, obviously showing support at the hearing on Monday, that would be helpful, and that's in the evening. And that'll be at the school board at 6, I believe. So
okay.
And you can check on that. It's posted on our website.
And that's this Monday, April 24th.
Yep.
Okay, at 6 p.m.
Yep. And Robertson has 6 school board members. So obviously, if you know any of them or know who the school board member is in your district, sending them an email or giving their office a call or something like that, saying, hey, we'd like to have this in our community, would be highly beneficial. Robertson County, when we turn to the applications are large. The applications are only 500 pages.
Oh, wow.
Robertson specifically sent in more than 200 letters of support from community members.
Nice.
Which I've never seen that. That's an extremely high number of supporters in Robertson. So obviously, if that number can make itself shown in these types of meetings, it would be to the benefit of the school.
Right. And I have seen for, past couple months, a lot of people, circulating the letters and different things, having people sign. So I do know that they have been out doing that. So good job, Robertson County. And so this thing that they're going to be voting on, is that called the Barney Charter School Initiative, or was it just made from that?
No, it's on what is called American Classical Education, but we have a partnership through their curriculum.
Oh, I see.
It's called the program guide. So basically, and for me as an educator, it's frankly the strongest whole curriculum I've ever seen. So 700 pages. Our relationship with Barney Charter School Initiative is through that and through they offer professional development for teachers and administrators, all free of cost. But that's where the relationship is. So BCSI has no sponsorship over us, but there's a relationship through the curriculum and really just a conversation around teaching free of cost.
Okay.
But yeah, so the school would be an ACE school, American Classical Education.
Okay, and then so the vote on Monday is for Robertson County School Board to accept having charter schools. Is that safe to say that?
Not charter schools generally, ours specifically.
Okay, the
it's
very
not
specific.
That, hey, we want charter schools. It's, hey, we would like American Classical Education school.
Okay, so it's very specific. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, and how would kids be eligible? I mean, would that be like a lottery system or a waiting list, or if they do go through?
It's a public school, meaning it's free and it's open to any child in Robertson County.
Oh, okay.
So any parent that came and signed up their child, as long as there's a seat, it's theirs. So the way this works is up to 340, you come in, boom, that's your seat. If the number becomes 341, so more than 340, then it automatically has to turn into a lottery, and all those kids are in the lottery.
Oh.
And so you do a public lottery where it's open, it has to be very transparent, and they basically pull names. And whoever that number one was, it would be the first on the waiting list. So if you had 400 kids, the first 340 pulled in the lottery would have seats. The next 60 kids would be on the waiting list in the order of how they were pulled.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, well, it is 8:24. I need to do a station break. Are you eligible, or are you available to hang out and give us a little bit more information after the station break?
Yep. Sure.
Okay, great. Let me go to that. Hold on, please.
In the heart of Springfield Square, former location of Burdett's Tea Shop, lies Curated Collections, a unique furnishing boutique which not only carries absolutely beautiful accent pieces, but also houses one of our area's top designers, Carol Carter. Come meet Carol and find out how she can customize your home. Frame a view, soften a room, add depth, dimension, and interest. With a large line of upholstery fabrics, she can restyle and recover any piece of furniture. She does custom draperies, pre-made panels, Roman shades, and more. Store hours are Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Curated Collections is located at 618 South Main Street, Springfield, Tennessee. For more information, call 615-681-0029. Be sure to tell them Lee Marie sent you.
All right, we are back in studio with Phillip Schwenk. Is that how you say it?
Yep. Perfect.
All right, from Americans Classical Schools.com, and you are located in Nashville? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
We have an office in Nashville.
Okay, and if people want to get a hold of you, is it just best to go through the website, or do you give a phone number or an email address, or what, in case somebody had questions?
We have both, and if you go on the website, you can see it. But if you want to specifically email me, it's pschwenk, so PSCHWENK at AmericanClassicalSchools.com. And feel free to email me whenever with whatever questions you have. I'll certainly address that.
That's great, because I imagine, some people, this might be the first time that they're hearing about this, and they want to be able to go to the meeting and really know what they're supporting. So, but it sounds very good. I remember way back, gosh, what was it? In the early 2000s, is I think probably when I started hearing about charter schools. And I think specifically there was was it Chicago that kind of started, or LA? It was some big city, and they were having just amazing results. Taking kids, with similar numbers that you said, and just, all of a sudden them skyrocketing. And I think that a lot of it seemed to just, had to do with the curriculum and what they were focusing on, really reading and math and just the basics. Is that still just kind of like the thrust of it all?
Part of it is curriculum.
Okay.
The other thing is there's a flexibility that charter schools inherently have that large districts struggle with, and it makes sense. meaning it makes sense that if you have a smaller community of kids, you can have more of a direct impact on them. So the example I can give is like when I first started teaching, I was in a high school with over 2,000 kids. And then most charter schools could be anywhere from literally 300-400 kids to maybe just under 1,000. So it allows for a flexibility that oftentimes larger schools struggle with. In fact, one of the impacts of charter schools around the time we're talking about 90s, 2000s, is a lot of larger districts have tried to create smaller schools, specific magnets or specific schools that have specific, themes that the kids can study. So there's a flexibility. And frankly, there's also, I can speak, this is now speaking from the point of view as an administrator, I have a more direct say in the adults that we place in front of kids. And there's a lot of, good teachers in any system. That's just always true. But in a smaller system, you can have more of a participation with them, and you can also make sure that you have excellent teachers in front of the kids. I think one of the areas that we're struggling in the nation is, some teachers don't cut it, frankly. I mean, there's a lot of teachers that are all working hard, but some may not be the best teacher to put in front of a child. In a larger system, it's harder to either provide the development that teacher needs or to maybe move them into another space. In a charter school, it's easier to do that. So there's several reasons, but a lot of it has to do with how big they are.
Okay.
So when I was in LA, I was part of a charter system where we took over a high school in LA. We literally took over the whole school, and the school had 3,600 kids in South Central LA. And we broke it up into 8 campuses. So you can imagine the impact that we were able to have on them was dramatic. I mean, the graduation rate basically almost doubled within about 3 years.
Really? Wow.
It was significant shifts, and that was in the early 2000s.
Wow, that is quite impressive. So it allows for more flexibility and more local control too. I mean, right?
Yes, and it is connected to like what I was saying earlier. The thing, and I'm a big advocate for this, if a charter school isn't working, you can cut it off. You can't do that with big districts. I mean, you can't suddenly tell the whole city of LA, we just, we threw out the district. I mean, you just can't do that. A charter school, you can, meaning if it's working, you can continue to, feed it. If it's not, you can cut it.
Gotcha.
And so, I mean, there's just a lot of things that make it kind of function in my mind. That's why I, especially as a person who's trying to start school, sometimes I always have to kind of talk about this win-win because to me it makes total sense that you have basically a school that only has really opportunities to benefit the students, or it doesn't exist.
Okay. And I know one question that a lot of people have is about funding and how that would affect other schools or other, in the district. How does funding come into all of this?
Well, to be specific to our schools, I always like to start with the facilities themselves. So the facility we establish. Not only do we establish the facility, we maintain the facility. So there's no cost to the district.
Wow.
So if you can think about either raising an entire building or refurbishing a building, that's tens of millions of dollars that the district saves just there.
Wow.
The other element is that what starts to happen, and it's an interesting part, especially in these types of schools, is that it's open literally to everybody. And there are families in Robertson County, for example, that have moved out of your district, meaning they've either taken their kids and put them in private schools, or they've taken their kids and they've decided to homeschool them. What happens with schools like ours is a lot of parents find them quite interesting. So, in a private school, they have a classical education, and now I can have that free. For many families, they'll choose, let's go try that out. So what's happening, in effect, is you're pulling kids back into the district that have been out of the district.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that has a couple of effects. One, the sponsor, so our LEA, has a fee that we have to pay to get into their sponsorship. So it pulls money in, and that's based on the number of students. And the other thing, for me, as an econ guy, in my undergraduate economics, to me, you're literally bringing families back into your community. So that's, on the way home from school, you're buying some ice cream, or maybe you're going by the store. It just pulls the money back into that space. But I think the larger piece to kind of look at this is that the money that comes out of the tax base, I mean, these are the same kids. We're not like taking kids in effect from anybody. It's just they have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And big districts have to constantly deal with fluctuations of kids. So it's not like we're taking like thousands and thousands of kids and it has like this huge kind of impact on what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing. But it's part of that larger piece. I've had to talk about finances quite a bit because in Tennessee there have been several studies because people are concerned about that. And basically, you can look up the studies of the comptroller there in Tennessee and Nashville. And these types of schools don't have any significant impact financially in a negative way on school districts. And there's plenty of studies out there where you can look for that. So,
Wow.
yeah. I
Because
mean,
that's an important thing. That's one thing I've kind of heard rumbling about, like saying, well, what's it going to do to our schools, and the funding and blah, blah, blah. So that's really interesting. And that makes a lot of sense about how some students or, some families that have kind of felt disenfranchised or whatever with the government schools and that have pulled out and are now homeschooling because that number is shooting through the roof. At least here in Robertson
across the
County, we have
country.
a lot more homeschoolers. And so that is interesting that would actually be putting some of the students back into the system,
Yes.
into the public school
And
system.
part of my interest, and it's been my interest since I was in college undergrad, I like having groups of kids together that are from different places.
Mm-hmm.
That conversation is rich.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the advantages of charter schools is they're able to get kids from whatever background and put them in the same space.
Okay.
And most of my teaching and being an administrator have been in major urban areas. And I've always liked bringing kids from all the various parts of the city or the county because it's really a different conversation. And especially in a classical school where it really is about this kind of Socratic method discussion, looking at, books and literature, what does it mean, what do words mean? When you get kids from all over the place, that is, for me, it's one of the best conversations out there. I love those groups.
Mm-hmm.
So
then,
yeah, so you're getting the kid that was a homeschooler next to the kid that went to the local public school, next to the kid that was at a private school down the road.
wow. Okay. So if a school, if we do get this charter school in Springfield, then any of the kids in Robertson County are eligible to apply for it. Is that how that works?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Public school in Robertson County. Yeah.
So they just have to be a resident of Robertson County to get into the lottery for it or to sign up. Okay. Yeah, and that would be really neat to have just that whole, cross section together. Wow. Okay.
I agree.
All right. Are there any other issues that you want to talk about? Our other guest has not arrived yet, so we have a few more minutes. Are we missing anything?
Those are, the big ones. I can talk about some of the things that, we've had to address. So you talked about finance. The other question we get a lot, and I can address that, is special populations.
Okay.
Special learners, maybe special ed,
Mm-hmm.
language learners.
Yeah.
A lot of times people try to suggest to me, I've heard this in conversation, that we wouldn't address those populations. And that's significant error. And a lot of the answer to that is in what I've said today. In a smaller community, we can be that much more attentive to students. And as a public school, of course, we only have, in my mind, we have a moral obligation to every child, regardless of how they learn.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also law, and people forget that. At a public school, I have to, by law, address the need of any student that's in my school.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, as a charter school, that'd be a great way to get shut down if you're ignoring the special populations. Any school that I've ever been in, including the type of school, the special education populations and English language learner populations have done very well. And if you can imagine, if you're teaching the type of way that we teach literacy in a multi-sensory way, in many different ways that kids learn, it benefits students of all types. And we also end up having a situation where we have personnel available, special ed teachers, directors, specialists that work with these populations as well. So we're a public school.
All right.
For any kid, any need. So when we talk about anybody in Robertson, we really mean anybody in Robertson.
That is awesome. Excellent. All right. And I'm sure that is a question that people have. So thank you for covering that. Anything else?
Well, those are the big ones.
Okay.
The big thing I would continue to stress is if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We have more than, that's what I do. I talk about our school. So if you have questions, I can continue to talk about that. And I would just continue to push that this is something that interests you. I think it's very important in the community that you voice that needs your school board. Because at the end of the day, it'll be your school board that say yes or no.
Gotcha.
And so there's 6 of them in Robertson County. It doesn't have to even be a long, like, if you want to send an email, it doesn't have to be, like, pages. It could only be, 2-3 sentences of, hey, I would love to have this American Classical Education School here in our environment. And like, if you have kids, be able to tell them, hey, I have 1, 2, 3 kids I would love to have this in the school. It's just a powerful state.
All right, very good. And yeah, I mean, this could really put Robertson County on a really cool map too, because, if we could get those numbers to be going up, that would, benefit the whole community. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I
so
agree.
So y'all have your
I agree.
homework out there. Some people are listening on the radio, but then also we are live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. So if you missed any part of this, you can go ahead and go on the WSGI Facebook page or WSGI app, and you can look at it. You can put questions on there, and we can forward them to Phillip and get answers for you that way, or you can just go ahead and go on their website and send Phillip questions that way, so that you guys are educated about that big important vote that is coming this Monday right here in Springfield at the Board of Education, right there on MS Couts Boulevard or Street, and starts at 6 o'clock. It's a special meeting, and we want to show our support to bring American Classical Schools Charter into Robertson County. So that is so exciting. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be on here. And everybody knows you get all the school board emails from their website, and let them know how you feel, and even better, bring your kids, your grandkids to the meeting and show them that, yes, that those 200 signatures that were turned in are real, and these are the faces that go with those signatures. So thank you so much for coming on, and I wish you all the best in this. And any parting words before we sign off?
Well, I'm thankful. So thank you for your time, Lorraine. I appreciate it. Hopefully it's an ongoing conversation.
All right. Hopefully we'll be seeing you soon here in Robertson County.
Yep.
Take care and God bless.
Hey, take care as well. God bless.
Located at 1000 Main Street in the heart of downtown historic Springfield lies Southside Drug Company, which has delivered hometown-friendly service since 1919. They offer compression stocking fittings, nebulizers, monthly care packs, get your medication rolled into strips of perforated packs, and free delivery within city limits. My favorite healthy cafe for breakfast and lunch. Weekdays, go in, try their real fruit blueberry smoothie. Store hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Visit SouthsideDrugCo.com. Be sure to tell them Lee Marie sent you.
All right. So it's official. That was the first call-in guest that I've taken. That's why the beginning was a little rocky.
It was amazing.
Oh, and I don't hear your microphone, so I don't know why. All the microphones are turned up. Talk again.
I said, hey, Robertson County.
Okay, now I do. Must be a short or something. Anyways, we had a little rocky start this morning trying to get the call in, but now I think that opens up a whole new world for us, because
It's exciting.
yeah, there's been some people that have wanted to come on that are really would be amazing guests, and they can't make it out in the morning. So yay. Anyways, I'm really glad that I was able to do that, and I do want to backtrack a little bit because I wanted to talk about something. April 19th, that is today.
Yes, I saw that history.
Did you
post
see my little
put out.
post?
You did.
You're still not loud. I don't know why. So in 1775 was the shot heard around the world. That's right. And which signaled the beginning of the Revolutionary War. It also showed that the underdog can come out on top.
Amen.
Right.
Yes.
Also, we affirmed that an armed individual is a citizen, whereas an unarmed individual is a subject.
That was my favorite.
Yes, so those were a few quotes that came up on my Facebook today, and I just wanted to share those because it's April 19th, right? So part of the Go Show, of course, is information and inspiration, but also is calendar items.
Okay, tell us what's going on.
for
lately.
Robertson County. So I know that you are going to this tomorrow.
Recovery Court. That is an amazing program. It's a hand up, not just a hand out. And I'm excited. I know they have not only 4 graduates that are going to be graduating through the program. And from what I understand from going last year, it's a difficult program, but it's something that kind of changes kind of a lifetime of bad choices into a way to get free from those and start fresh and new.
So that is tomorrow at the center, which is going to be 12 noon to 2.
That's the meeting, and at 11:30 they're having lunch. So
Okay.
they're going to start the meeting actually at 12.
Okay, 11:30 lunch,
noon.
free lunch.
And it's really exciting because, that was my favorite part last year, was to hear the graduates talk. Well, they're having the alumni graduates, which means they've been successful to carry on and not backslide into that world that was not good for them. So they are staying the course. And I remember just some of them last time was getting a job, getting a house, getting their kids back. That's a life-changing wonderful recovery court program. I know that Judge Joel Perry's
He was here today.
over that. Oh,
Yeah, they were all here today. So they did a big beefy section on it. So if you missed Laverne's show today, by all means, please go back and listen to that because, the judge was here along with the other administrators of the program.
Megan, Althea.
So you can go to that 401 North Main Street at the center tomorrow at 11:30 lunch, 12 o'clock program. It goes till about 2. Also tomorrow starts my favorite farmer's market in the county, Cedar Hill.
Yeah.
So right there behind City Hall, or where the ball field is. Mostly people know where the ball field is more than City Hall. So go ahead and go there because they have a lot of great vendors, quality vendors. So be sure to support that. And that is where I got my amazing pepper plants that grew and grew and grew and gave me thousands of peppers. The 4-H kids were selling those, and they were quality. So make sure you do that. There's a lot of other things coming too. This Saturday, Master Gardeners is doing their spring seminar at the Highland Rim Research Center, and that's at 3181 Experiment Station Road. They're doing 3 topics: bees, native plants, and vegetable gardening. So that is from 9 a.m. to noon. There is a charge on that, but it's not very much. I think it's maybe like $10 or something. So be sure to go to that because Master Gardeners has so many good tips on veggie gardening. I know at their class yesterday, Bernie got a ton. Like she was reading them all to me, and some stuff that I would not have even thought about. So make sure, and if you're in a homeschool group, this is a great thing to take the kiddos to. Right there, 3 hours of learning about everything you need to learn about gardening. So I highly recommend that one. Of course, Saturday, along with every Saturday for the month of April, is the big turkey shoot fundraiser for our local veterans. And that's right there at the American Legion in Greenbrier. You want to get there probably about 7:30, by 7:30, because it does fill up. But go out and support our local veterans. Also, if you're available to help them, they always need help putting up those paper targets. You just make sure you bring an empty shotgun shell so that it helps you poke them on. You don't get poked by the
Targets
little
are
nail.
small, but that game is fun, and I know people
It is
can win
fun.
yams, and I've heard they have really good, biscuits there. So
They do. You can get some snacks, hang out. So you can either go to shoot, you could go to just volunteer, you can go to hang out in the dining room there. Just support our veterans because they have been supporting us. So if any group has paid it forward, it is them, and we owe them a lot. So go out there and be a part of the turkey shoots right here in Robertson County. All right. There's some more things coming up, Deb. Do you remember what else we wanted to talk about calendar-wise?
you've covered the school board meeting, and you've covered.
There was one other thing that was fun for ladies. Here it is.
Oh, the game night.
The game night.
Uh-huh.
So Springfield Baptist Church, where Caleb goes, is having their game night. That is this Saturday. Doors open at 4 p.m. You can bring your favorite games and some snacks, and that'll be fun.
That'd be fun. And your best friends, so that everyone can meet new people.
That's right. Yeah, there's no excuse to be home alone in this county because there's always a gazillion things going on. So, so make sure you tune into some of that. And, I did post several things on my Facebook page today. Maybe you can look them up and see what else I am missing, because I know that I did post some. So if you missed any part of what I was talking about, you can go to Lee Marie Facebook page, and I did post some events there. Feel free to always send stuff to me as well, because I can repost it or, talk about it on the next show. We're here every single Wednesday, and then every first Friday we bring Wild Doc on. So, I know Caleb wanted me to mention a couple things here. Okay, Cold Stream Camp in Adams is looking. They need men for volunteers, right? Okay, so you want to get me a phone number or an email address for that so that they can look that up. And they said, training starts June 15th and ends on June 18th. So Coldstream Camp, and we'll get a contact information on for that.
What are the ages on that?
I don't know. Is that just they're looking for volunteers over 18, Caleb? Oh, okay. Okay, so high school. Okay. All right. So, Miss Debra, you always have things that you want to talk about. So is there any particular topic that you would like to talk about right now while I check and make sure we have all our calendar items?
That I would like to talk about. Okay. Well, I enjoyed listening to your first speaker there, because anybody that would take over a LA high school of 3,600 people and turn it around and pretty much double the scores, that's pretty amazing. So
that's a good point.
I think it's very important. That was my favorite part, to attend the school board and vote and get involved, whether you have children or whether you don't have children, because it affects your whole atmosphere that you live in. If the children are bored or they're feeling no confidence, it sounds like he's giving more than just helping them scholastically. He's helping them to think. He's helping them to have higher aspirations, and realizing that they can do anything. They can do anything.
Right. I did go to I went to their website last night, the American, what's it called now? American Schools. I'll have to look it back up. Anyways, I had not looked at their website before last night, and I looked it up, and I was really impressed. Because that's it. I mean,
what an opportunity. People don't miss it. Don't miss it. Even grandchildren. I mean, my niece is homeschooled because of the school environment, and my grandchildren, are going to be homeschooled. Some of the moms were getting together just to take a turn, teaching, because they don't want what's being put out in the public schools. Now, that's not a good look for us, but we can do better. We can do better, and we can have choices. So I liked what he had to offer.
Okay, so it's AmericanClassicalEducation.com. That's the website. Yeah. So, look that up, because, and I'm not saying that all schools are bad and all teachers are bad and all public schools or traditional public schools are bad. I'm not saying that.
Great.
Just saying that this looks like a good alternative, or just, an additional opportunity. And like he said, it could bring a lot of the kids that are currently homeschooled back into the system.
Yes. Giving them choices, but also some of the public school system with some of the new laws and things that they're introducing, the teachers, it's not even their fault.
Right. They have no choice.
Because they're having to focus on things that have nothing to do with education. And that makes it difficult and confusing for the children. So instead of learning how to do math and be able to make it in the world and finance and all those type of things, we've got to worry about pronouns. And, I that's the things that just bothers me. I think, why are we even going there?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I think that,
why are we even going there? Let's focus on, go back to the root.
Basics.
What is the education for?
Right.
And get back to the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic. And
right. And those numbers that he gave that were all like in our 20s to 30%.
High.
That right there shows that we need to be focusing more on the basics of reading and writing
but you're enabling them. You don't want to just pass them through. I mean, they have a lot of great programs in place, but there's a lot of stuff that's been, if you don't pay attention to what's going on, the enemy of your children or the enemy of my, just common sense thinking
Mm-hmm.
is sneaking in, because be assured they've got people with agendas, and
Mm-hmm.
that's probably not the subject you wanted to go to, but there is agenda, and it's to take the innocence of children away
Mm-hmm.
and have them focusing on things they don't need to be focusing on.
Right.
So we want to protect them, we want to educate them, and we want to give them a good moral sound
Mm-hmm.
structure to grow up in.
So also prayer, remember to be in prayer, not also, but first and foremost. Be in prayer about this, and be praying for wisdom and discernment, and be praying for our schools and for our kids and for our teachers and our administrators. It is such a difficult job. And I know that they're very understaffed,
Understaffed, underpaid, and then again, some of the teachers, because of the pushed agenda, are bowing out,
Mm-hmm.
and that leaves room for others to come in
Right.
that maybe are not.
So I think it's exciting that a group like American Classical Education has come along, because they're doing a lot of the work and even a lot of the funding to bring the scores up.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
give
really
options.
exciting.
Give
I mean, and like you said, they're coming to help, not
We
to
help
battle.
support. Yeah, we don't want to tear down our teachers and our administration of the public education, because I've seen a lot of good. I've homeschooled my children. I've had them in Christian schools, and I've had them in public schools, and all of them had good points, and they all had some negative points.
Mm-hmm.
So you take what you have and get involved as a parent,
Mm-hmm.
and that way you know what's going on with your kids, and be a support, if you can.
You just reminded me of something, because I too had been in private and public school.
Yes.
And I want to tell you about my favorite public school teacher, because
I
he was on
remember.
Facebook the other day, and someone had posted something about Ted Kopacki from Fullerton, and I chimed in and I said, yes, he was my favorite instructor. And the reason why is because he gave a test every day in class. It was an advanced vocabulary
That
class.
made your favorite?
And he gave a test every day, which, you know what that meant? That meant you had to do your homework every night,
You had to pay attention.
because those 20 new words you were gonna be tested the next day. And I learned so much from that class, and I appreciated the structure. He was very structured, very just, we're learning. It wasn't all this other craziness. But anyways, I still remember that as my favorite class in high school, because I learned so much, and it forced me to do my homework. And, we need, emphasis on
Somebody
learning.
to have something where they inspect what they expect, but first he expected something of you. He
Mhm.
gave the assignment, but he just didn't. Some of them, they didn't care whether
Right.
or not you accomplished it or not. It was on you, but he wanted you. He expected it.
Mhm.
Be rewarded for doing what you're supposed to be doing, and a little more focus on the good things that they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, but yeah, we only have about 5 minutes left, and that
Yes.
we have to leave time for your closing prayer, because we didn't have an opening prayer. So you can make it a bigger closing prayer.
I know, I noticed it, but you know what? having that gentleman on just sharing
Uh-huh.
was amazing. I was encouraged. I don't have the school age, but I have the grandchildren, and so they're going to be the next ones that are going to be your mayors and your police officers and your judges and your radio hosts and all of those things. So we want to help them have confidence and educate them and be able to go forward. So
All right. So I'm looking through my notes real quick. I know the Chamber is doing their annual breakfast tomorrow, but I think it's probably sold out. It's going to be at a different location. So if you're used to going to City Hall, it's not there tomorrow. It's over at the schoolhouse on 76, and it's at 8 to 9:30, I believe. But like I said, I think it's sold out, but you can contact the Chamber to see if they still have tickets if you're interested in going to their annual breakfast. So other than that, what are we in? We are the 19th Shot Heard Around the World Day.
let's have a revolution in education.
There you go. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's it for calendar items. So did you want to do any other inspiration before you do a prayer?
Just know that you can be more. You can do more. I did one. Let me see.
Ooh, I know one other thing.
Go ahead.
Caleb reminded me. The chicks have hatched at the library.
Oh, I want to go see them.
Yes, so go over to Stokes Brown Library and look at the chicks, and you could tell them that Caleb from WSGI sent you. Thank you, Caleb, for reminding me.
Yes, I might have to go over there. Okay, here's a little inspiration.
Okay.
It's up to you. The amazing thing about life is you choose what you allow into it. You choose how things affect you, and you choose how you react to them. You choose how you have happiness is a choice, so make the choice.
Thank you.
I thought that was good. So it's up to
Very
you.
nice. All right, closing prayer time.
All right. Wow. This has just gone by really fast. So thank you, Father God, for sending this gentleman that's leading up this charter school. I thank you for favor as they vote on it at the chamber or the school board. I thank you for your favor. I thank you, Lord, for making people aware of these things that are going on that are good choices for them, and for guiding our steps, Lord, in this community to bring forth your purpose to your glory. And I thank you for this radio station, WSGI, and this station 1100, and for Lee Marie on the Go Show, and all the good that is being brought, Lord, to this community. I thank you for a hedge of protection around it, Father, that you would have your way in this city, in this county, in this state. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Debra, so much. Really appreciate you helping out today. I appreciate Caleb's help as well. Remember, if you missed any of this broadcast, you can go back on Facebook or YouTube and watch it. You can put in comments and questions or topics you would like to see next time, right? So you got your homework. You got your homework for sure. Lots of fun stuff coming up. Tomorrow, Recovery Court, luncheon. And Saturday is a bunch of stuff, 9 to 12 over at Master Gardeners. Learn about veggie gardening, native plants, how important native plants are, and also bees. You can learn about bees as well.
These are very important.
And then at 4, you can go to the ladies' game night over at Springfield Baptist. But remember, there's a lot of good midweeks tonight everywhere. Every church pretty much almost has a midweek tonight. So take advantage of those. I mean, I love Wednesdays now that I'm committed to going every Wednesday. I can't even imagine now waiting till Sunday to gather with everybody. You know, it's if you're not going every Wednesday, you're missing out, or, you know, find a place.
There's things, Journey to Recovery at South Haven.
That's right.
And they have a regular service, but they also have where if you're going through anything challenging, whether it's, you know, emotional, body, soul, spirit, you can go in and get prayer. And break up in really small groups. You also have
and that's at South Haven.
That's at South Haven Baptist, and you have, you know, Covenant Confirmers, and you have Gateway My Church's prayer and praise. And I know, you know, most of the churches have a Wednesday night service, so check out and tap in.
That's right. And invite people to go with you. All right. You guys have all been listening and watching to 1100 WSGI. This is Lee Marie, and I will see you all next Wednesday on The Go Show. God bless. Make it a great day.